What we got here? And there
I
we
love my
go.
mute button.
There we go. Does that show up for you guys?
Yes.
Awesome.
It does.
All right, present to everyone. There we go. Well, all right. I'm sure viewers and listeners will be jumping on very shortly. Since we are now live. We are now live with the She Squatchers, as you see right here, the Midwest first all-female Bigfoot team. We have Miss Jen Cruz and Jen Grover. Welcome aboard to my YouTube show. We're gonna have some fun tonight here. We got a lot to discuss and kind of a lot to get into. My intro is nowhere near as cool as what they do on the Journey Radio. So, but but I'm excited to be back with them again. And what's going to be a little bit less nerving is that I'm going to let them do all the talking today. So I'm going to make sure I'm not the one on the spot. So.
Well, we love it when you talk, though. Daniel, you are a fabulous speaker, I have to say.
Well, thank you. I mean, I do have my moments, I guess, but, I do try. I just try to keep it, simple. I try to keep it real, and and even though, I like to say I like to keep it to the point, but for those who's ever heard me talk, regardless, on anything, they know that I'm very random, and I think till this day I'm still like that. I don't think I try to correct it. I'm very random. I might start off with one subject, I might jump to another, but there's usually a good reason why I get very random and I switch things up, because the way I try to present things, everything to me, the way I do it has a connection. So
I love random. I love random, spontaneous. Love it.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, I feel that some people have trouble trying to keep up with that when they're like, okay, he's talking about this, but now he's talking about that. What's he getting at, And then I think eventually people kind of catch on, So I got to, I try to keep in mind that people are like me. They're not all people like me, because I'm kind of slow on some things. So, I kind of think people the same as me, It makes me feel better about myself. So, but anyway, I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop rambling, because I am a rambler, and I will go on about the stupidest things eventually here if I don't turn this over to you guys. So, but first of all, I want to let everybody know why we're going to talk a little, do our Bigfoot talk here, and another thing that we're getting into here is we got a very big event going on here coming up June 30th and July 1st, and ladies and gentlemen, She Squatchers are a big part of that, and we're going to get into that too very shortly. First of all, I don't know who to start with here. We got Jen Cruz and Jen Grover with us right now, and first of all, let me ask you guys. Let's kind of start from the beginning. Give everybody, a little a taste of where you guys come from. What got you guys started in the whole Bigfoot phenomenon, and then we'll kind of build up from there. So now I don't know who wants to take it first. I mean, I'm going to leave that up to you.
Why don't you take that?
Okay. Well, I started the whole deal, so here we go. I'm Jen Cruz. And I'm the leader of She Squatchers. And it all started out back in 2015. I was doing radio for a few years, and I scored an amazing interview with Lauren Coleman, cryptozoologist. He's got the Bigfoot Museum out of Maine. I think you all know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know a lot about Bigfoot at the time, so I prepared for that interview by watching some episodes of Finding Bigfoot. And off I went to have my interview with him in person at our state big Paracon event in Minnesota. And I had a lovely interview with him, at which time he impressed me greatly with how scientific he was. I kind of had an idea in my mind about what Bigfoot enthusiasts were kind of about. Nothing against anyone, but I wasn't a believer in Bigfoot at the time. So he was very impressive to me, and I asked him if he thought Bigfoot really existed, and he said he did, and some of the reasons why. And then he went on to say that he really felt that women would be the ones to really create that solid interaction with Bigfoot. And he started listing the reasons why. And one of which he said that men have a pheromone that the great apes just don't like. And so he thought that may also include Bigfoot, that Bigfoot might be part of that. And he said that, he listed all the women that have done the work with the great apes, like Jane Goodall. And he said how women have such a great rapport with them, that he felt that they were naturally more curious about women for obvious reasons why younger males might be more curious about women. So he said if you put some women in the woods without men, guns, or dogs, you're going to have some Bigfoot action going on. Well, at the time, I jokingly said, pick me, hey there, big boy. But the more the interview went on, the more I thought about it. And I thought, with all the people that are reporting this around the world, there could be something to this. And I had been working as a psychic medium for years, and I do missing persons cases and things like that, helping to find people. And I thought, well, Bigfoot seems to be missing. Let's go see if we can find him. So see if there's anything really out there. So by the end of that interview, I actually seriously volunteered. Because I do this thing that I call geographic remote viewing when I'm looking at locations, and it's a psychic thing, but really the government developed controlled remote viewing, and it's more of a science, and they use it actually as a spying technique on other countries and stuff. So I mean, it's a science. It's really accurate stuff. So I thought, well, I could do that. I could see if these extra abilities give us a little bit of a edge up on what everybody else is doing. And I really didn't know a lot about how everybody else did this. So my curiosity was, can we use our extra senses to find Bigfoot? Will that give us an edge? And every time we go out, we try something like a new experiment. And so far, we've been getting a whole big, yes, this works. This works. So that's how we started out. And Jenna wasn't with me in the beginning. I've known Jenna for many, many years. And after we did our first expedition, I told Jenna all about it, and she's like, oh my goodness, I want in. And so she's been with me ever since. And it's been a touch and go thing because, we've had some pretty scary things happen when we're out there. And some of the ladies got it back in the car and they didn't want to get back out.
Wow.
It scared them enough where they're like, I don't want to get out of the car. And I understand that. So I was really excited to have Jenna because she is absolutely probably the most fearless person I've ever met in my entire life, which is perfect for this work. And I'm happy to say that I am now a huge believer in Bigfoot, just based on our own experiences and what we found in the field. But Jenna, you should tell about all that yourself too.
As far as, well, like Jen said, we were really good friends for a very long time, and she was just telling me a little bit about their first expedition, and I was like, Jen, seriously, this sounds like something I would love to do, and I really wasn't a believer in Bigfoot either. I mean, I've always been interested in the different cryptids, but I never really gave it a big thought if they truly existed or what's behind these theories or even the different theories. So yeah, like Jen said, she told me about it and I was hooked line and sinker and I was ready. I think I had an interview, and how many months later was it, Jen, that I was just going out for the first time?
Yeah, it wasn't too long after that. She was gone for the winter again, because she's a snowbird. But we don't do a lot of looking in the winter anyway, because we're up in Minnesota, North Dakota. It gets really cold up here. And the areas where we're tending to be looking, these roads and little trails don't get plowed in the winter, so we can't get back there. So.
Well, I was reading. Actually, I got a comment here on the live chat. It's actually, let me introduce. The question is, who is in the dark, whatever, as far as the view. I think they were talking about Zach. So yeah, Zach's listening in. So I know you girls know Zach. So
Hey, Zach, I thought that was him.
Hi,
yeah,
Zach.
it looks like he's sitting in his truck. So
Nice, nice.
awesome. So yeah, getting started with all this, you girls recall any, any ridicule, any mockery, catching any, grief over getting involved with all this?
Well, I can honestly say me right away, I was almost embarrassed to tell people, and don't be offended by that, but I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I knew I wanted to get out there. I love the camaraderie, the fact that there would be such good camaraderie. I loved the fact that we get out and get some exercise, and I loved the fact that we may be part of finding something that has not been proved as far as existence yet. But it was kind of embarrassing at first. People were like, "Are you serious?" No. Oh, well, and people that knew me were like, "Yep, I can see that." But other people were just like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, there's definitely some ridicule, and even talking to people at the different bars and things, they ask what I did, and I tell them, I'm a she squatcher, and oh man, there's everything from I'm totally behind it, I believe, to oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I don't even know why you're out there doing it. So I've definitely heard both ends of the stick.
Mm. Well, I know I personally, and I think, you girls would agree, and, many others who are involved, it's been a very rewarding field. I find it rewarding for the very fact making the little discoveries that we come across. What we call discoveries among ourselves may not be considered discoveries to science or to just the average Joe. But to me, it's rewarding because there's so much to observe and to pick up on, and and we all know it's a mystery, and it's a puzzle that we're trying to piece together. But we come to our own conclusions, maybe forming our own understanding that we want to share with everybody else. So to me, what we discover and come to learn, it's a discovery. Again, it may not seem so with the average Joe, but to me, that's how it's been rewarding on me. How if you tell me how how's it been rewarding on your end as far as where all the Bigfoot research has taken you guys?
I think for me, and this is probably different than other Bigfoot researchers. Again, I'm always out there trying to test out other ideas about how maybe we can find Bigfoot that aren't the conventional ways that most people look. I'll give an example. One of the first times that we had gone out in a little scouting mission, Jenna and I and Nikki had gone to a old gravel pit that was no longer being used because
Oh yes.
somebody had given a report that a few years before that they were down in there doing some practice shooting because it was a really safe place to do that because they were down in the pit, so it wasn't going to be a runaway bullet anywhere.
Yeah.
And they were doing their practice shooting, and apparently the people were very reputable people and had seen what they called a monkey. They thought it was a monkey. And the lady said she knew that it was just crazy to think that because that's in northern Minnesota. We don't have monkeys here. But she thought maybe it had escaped. It was somebody's pet or something like that when she had reported it. But nobody had reported a missing monkey pet or anything like that. So we thought, well, let's go check that place out. And it was a really big old gravel pit. And we looked around there. We did find some footprints, but it was in a high traffic area. A lot of other things were moving through there. And I thought, yeah, I think, there's just too much other movement through here. Let's see if we can find something a little bit better than that. So we decided we were going to move up the road to a different area that I had never been to before. And Nikki was driving because I like to have my senses fully open when we're out looking to see if I can sense anything. And as she's driving 55 miles an hour down the road, I sensed something that was an energy feeling that just it it lit up my whole body, and it was the same energy feeling I had felt when we had done our very first expedition, and we actually had things coming at us in the woods that they were walking, bipedal movements, sticks were cracking, you could hear it. I mean, we have all that on video. And it was just a crazy thing, but that had a very unique energy sensation to me. And I felt that same sensation pull me to the right, and I yelled, "Stop the car!" Turn around. There's something back in there in that woods right there. We have to find a way to get in there. So we turn around, we go back, and we find where we can pull in. And there was a gravel pit back there that we didn't know about. Nikki didn't even know what was there. And she lives, probably within 15, 20 minutes drive away from there. And so we pull in there, and there's this really steep gravel hill. And clear as day, you could see the footprints going up there, and they were fresh, huge footprints with toes. And we measured all of them, and they measured the measurements changed, I think, because it was sliding sometimes. So the smallest footprint was 18 inches long, and the biggest one was 24 inches long. But it went all the way to the top and didn't put its hands down. And it was too steep of a hill for it to have been a human. And it was too steep for it to have been a bear that was stepping in its same footprints. And Jenna and Nikki tried to climb the hill next to it, and they were on all fours, and they kept sliding back down. I mean, they had no space between their feet. They literally kept sliding back down. And this thing had space between its footprints, and it just went straight up the hill. And so we were really excited and really sure that what we had found were actually Bigfoot footprints. And that was really exciting to us because, literally, I sensed that at 55 miles an hour as we drove by. So
Wow.
for me, that is really exciting because, again, when we started this out, one of my main questions was, can we sense Bigfoot with our senses? Can that help us to find Bigfoot? And we continue to go out doing more and more experiments with that, and we keep getting a yes, it does, it works, it works, it works. So now that I know what the energy sensation is, because everything has its own energy frequency, and there are people who can sense that on a physical level. It's just like a staticky feeling, but it's a vibration in your body. And every frequency has a higher or lower frequency vibration. And so everything will have its own vibration. And now that I know what Bigfoot's vibration apparently feels like, it's easier to sense that, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you a question. There's a question on the live chat for you by Miss Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. But I wanted, with what you're just talking about, if anytime that anybody that's been out in the woods, and I believe it's natural, but you get that vibe, and I believe it's what you're talking about, that energy, that vibe, the sense of like, okay, there's something here, you're not alone. Would that relate to what you're talking about? That that energy, that like you're picking up, like your senses are saying that there's something here, and to me, a majority of the time, it's usually true. There is, you end up coming across something that proves your feeling. Your senses were telling you something was right. That was there. Would you say that's what that is? The energy.
I think that people sense it at various levels of awareness, and we all sense it in our subconscious mind. And so, like, science has determined that the human brain works at 400 billion bytes per second. That's not a potential, that's what it's actually working at. But the average human is only consciously aware of 2,000 bytes per second out of the 400 billion bytes every second that they're actually processing in their awareness. So the majority of what we're sensing, what we're seeing, what we're feeling, what we're aware of, stays in the subconscious mind, and we're not consciously aware of it. So when we have that gut instinct that there's something here with us, that's where that's coming from. It's eking up through the subconscious mind. Now, anybody can tune their awareness over to become more aware of sensing energy to the point where you're literally feeling it like a vibration in your whole body. And so that's why I said when when we're out looking, I like it when somebody else is driving so I can fully open my awareness to that, because I can't drive like that. I don't think it's very safe for me to drive like that. Because I'm not really fully in the driving mode, but more of a sensing mode. And you know, I switch my conscious awareness over to sensing more on an energy level, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And anybody can do that. Everybody senses this stuff in their subconscious mind. You just have to learn how to tap into that.
Okay. Here's something. Now I don't know how, if you ever met or have ever spoken with Kimberly McGeorge, which I believe a lot. You know, you guys have a lot in common, and probably a lot of a lot of common knowledge together with what she's into, which you'll get to meet her at our event. She's one of our sponsors as well.
Awesome.
Hold on, I'm trying to look at my live chat and it's flip flopping everywhere on my phone here. One of the things she wanted to ask is your belief in substance, as far as physical or metaphysical or both, whatever.
What do we believe?
So, yeah, as far as physical and metaphysical.
All right. Well, we came in without forming a belief, just seeing what we would find out for ourselves. We're very open-minded to any of it, really. And I am part Native American, so part of my research has been really fun for me to collect some of those Native stories. And what's interesting is that some of the things that we're experiencing actually coincide with the Native stories, which I think is really fascinating. But just because I hear a story doesn't mean that that's what I'm going to believe 100%. Does that make sense? I'm a really skeptical person, and I like to experience things for myself to really believe in it. So, you know, when other people are like, yeah, okay, I don't blame them for that. I'm the same way.
I am too. And you know, and a funny thing is, I have to share this. I'm very objective myself, and some people think I'm quick to believe some things, but those who know me that have been following me know, nah, Daniel's the biggest objective, mofo out there. Someone will present something, someone will tell me a story. I've had one lady recently tell me a story the other day, and I didn't tell her I didn't believe her, but I wasn't there, so I can't say what she told me was truth or not truth. But when it comes to photos, people love. I mean, I get photos all the time sent and shared to me, and some of them, I'll be honest, they are very interesting. Some of them, I want to come back and ask them, and I try to without them taking offense. Like, okay, tell me what I'm looking at here. What am I supposed to be looking at? What am I supposed to be looking for? And I've changed a lot for those who knew how I used to be. I used to, pretty much be very blunt and say, "This is garbage. This ain't shit." But no, but I've come along like, no, that's the wrong way to approach people. I mean, I had no problem questioning somebody and being objective, but I'm just an honest person, and I believe that's the way it should be. And anybody, even with my own stuff, what I share, if I find something, a lot of what I share when I find things that look interesting to me, and I'll share what I believe they are. But I want people's input. I want people, to question it. I don't expect everybody to believe. If I say, okay, this is a Bigfoot break, this is a Bigfoot track, question it. Don't take my word for it. I mean, yes, this is what I'm finding, and this is what I believe it to be. But, I believe that everybody should be objective. It doesn't matter who you follow. There's people that follow people in the Bigfoot world to the point where they almost worship these people. And I believe there is a few that might be doing that with me, and I don't want them to be like that, because I want them to be objective, ask questions.
Oh, come on now, Danielle. You'll love it if people worship you.
I think you do.
Hey, Jen, bow down.
Oh, sorry, we have to give you a hard time sometimes.
I know.
It's
I know.
Saturday
I love
night.
It. Absolutely. I love every bit of it. So yeah, I totally agree with what you say. But people can't be afraid to be like. I think everybody's afraid of offending somebody. And
that's just it. Everybody's afraid of offending everybody. It's everyone is trying to be so politically correct, and you know what? Sometimes you just can't be.
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely don't care if I offend somebody.
Absolutely.
I say whatever's on my mind. I don't regret it.
And Zach will tell you. Zach will tell you, and we all, I'm sure most of us have experienced a lot of ridicule and a lot of mockery. I still do to this day. You should see some of the comments I get on my YouTube videos. If I think they're too ugly, I don't even respond. I just remove the comment. But there's some ugly stuff on there, and so, but
Yeah.
it's just something we got to deal with.
Can I just pump in here too? In the very beginning, it seems like you're a little bit more embarrassed and you're a little bit more timid when you first get into this field. But as you continue, you start not caring as much what people are saying about you because you're actually finding things. Now, when I first started, I was like, no, I'm kind of a skeptic, big time. And as we started finding things, my views are changing, my thoughts, my theories, everything's changing. So now when people give me grief, I can come back and say, well, we found this, and this. So don't tell me that there's no possibility. You know what I mean? I think we all feel that way. We get much more, what's the word I'm looking? We're just much more courageous in what we're doing as time goes by.
Right. Absolutely. Hold on, there was something else here on the live chat. Because I'm trying to follow everybody on the live chat, and
hi everybody.
Hi everybody. I can't see the live chat. Am I supposed to be able to see the live chat?
Well, I have it opened up through my phone because I'm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy for me that way because live chat is. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. See. So, but for those who haven't seen my face yet, hello everybody.
That's much better. We get to see the massive beard.
Shut it off. It was better before.
Look at Zach with that pipe like he's an old man.
I was going to ask, what is it that you're smoking in there, Zach?
Prince Albert pipe tobacco. I run out of Red Man today working on the fence.
Okay.
I thought it was Prince Albert, one of the cows out in his back field. The horse.
That's awesome. Funny.
Well,
I'm hearing an echo. Is anyone else hear the echo?
It's Zach.
Oh.
Yeah, it's me. I bet it is. I got headphones in. That only happens whenever I have headphones in.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
wonderful.
That's why anytime we have a show and Zach's on there, even on our radio show, and somebody else is speaking, we always got to mute Zach. So that's why when I told him before he came on, I said, when you come on, mute yourself because you'll hear yourself echo and feedback. And I was like, it's kind of hard to talk when you hear yourself repeating yourself. So, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. So. Well, I'll tell you what. One of the other things I want to know about, I want to start getting into here. We'll probably jump back to some, other things here regarding research and beliefs, but you girls are very heavily known in the Bigfoot world. Especially, you guys make a lot of appearances with different conventions and Bigfoot conferences. How long have you been involved with appearing at different Bigfoot events?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Because it started at a convention. It started at a convention. We were at our Minnesota has a huge Paracon event every year in October, and that's where it began. And then we started doing like our more of our state Bigfoot days, festivals, things. And it was weird because like different events would ask us to come in and speak for them. Last year we did, it wasn't a Bigfoot event. It was the Thief River Falls Home and Sportsman Show at the Ralph Engelstad Arena in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. And for those who aren't local and don't know what that is, it's an Olympic-size hockey stadium where they did the Olympics for the hockey.
Wow.
And so they actually hired us to come in and talk about Bigfoot and have like what Finding Bigfoot would call like a town hall meeting. And so we did. And it was really shocking to us, because, and I know on our Facebook page there's a picture somewhere of Jenna taking a selfie. She looks really excited, and behind her is an entire hallway of people, a whole line that just look really unhappy. And that is the line of people that didn't get to come in and see us because it was overpacked. And that line went around the corner too. And those were all the people that did not get to come in and see us.
Wow.
And the organizers of the event said that they were really underestimating how many people would show up to see us. And it really blew us away too, how much interest people had in that. People came from states away, came down from Ontario to meet us and to talk to us and tell us about their Bigfoot experiences. And they just wanted to share with us. There was a native man that came down from Ontario, and he brought us a map of, and he had marked it with the areas where his reserve in Canada. In Canada, they're called reserves instead of reservations.
Ah, okay.
And he had marked it with the areas that his tribe had set aside for Bigfoot. And so nobody was allowed to mine or hunt in those areas. And you could go in there, but they said, these are Bigfoot areas, so be mindful and respectful of that. And so that is really neat that they're actually literally setting aside lands for Bigfoot on their reserves.
That is awesome. I'm just curious, not to cut you off, but have they ever mentioned the dialect terms or the names given to the Sasquatch or the Bigfoot in Canada in that particular area? Because there's some that I know of. I don't know if the rest of them share the same thing. Because there's some native tribes.
He was Ojibwe.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. He was Ojibwe, Anishinaabe Ojibwe. In Canada, the tribe used to be called Anishinaabe Ojibwa, but the United States and Canada border split the tribe in half. So he's like, I'm part Native American. My mom is a member of the Red Lake Band of Ojibwe Indians in northern Minnesota. So we're actually from the same tribe, just different reservations. And so there's different words in the Ojibwe language for Bigfoot. The one that I'm most familiar with is Gichisabe, which means great big honesty. And because Bigfoot represents honesty in the 7 sacred teachings of the grandfathers. So a Christian equivalent to that would be Bigfoot representing one of the 10 commandments.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal. But Bigfoot represents honesty in the 7 sacred teachings because he lives the most honest life.
Yeah. Now over around other parts of Canada, I know in running down in the Maine, you have the Micmac Indians, and they have a few different dialects. One would be the Gugwe, the Guju, weird names like that. And I may even be mispronouncing one of them. But the Micmac, they have their legend is related to a large hairy female. What's the word? Oh man, what is it? Oh man, it's a large, hairy female. In most legends, they kidnap. It's known to kidnap children and women. Cannibalistic. That's the other one I'm looking for. It's if you look into it, yeah, they mention cannibalistic. I think there was a few other tribes or legends that made.
It ain't the Wendigo, is it?
Nah, not the Wendigo. But yeah, the Micmac. If you look them up, they have, like I said, it's Guge. Gugu. Then they have the Guge. And then there's a couple other ones I can't think of right offhand without looking it up. But yeah, but if you look up their legend, it's very interesting. Because it is described as a hairy female giant that's been known to be cannibalistic. That Isa invade the tribes and the villages. So I don't know. It's weird, interesting because that's why I was just curious about what names might be close, or if they're like every tribe, even across the United States, they all have a legend of some sort. A lot of them have similarities, here and there.
Mi'kmaq is an Algonquin dialect.
Yes, yes.
So it is connected to the Ojibwe language then. So the GE would probably be pronounced gay.
Gay, okay. Gugay.
Anything E at the end in Ojibwe is pronounced A.
So,
like Ojibwe, it's Ojibwe, it's Ojibwe, because it ends in an E. So
nice.
I just looked, I'm like, I think that's an Algonquin dialect. So
yeah, I know that much. Yeah, you're right on that. So
yeah.
Now
all I know is my brain hurts now.
Minnesota, that is also home of the MNBRT, the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team, with Abe Del Rio, right?
Yes, Abe Del Rio.
Yeah, I got to meet him for the first time last year. He's a very cool guy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll be hanging out with him. We'll be hanging out with him right after the Virginia Bigfoot Conference, because as soon as we get done there, we have to hightail it back to Minnesota because we're speaking at the Bigfoot Days Festival in Minnesota, in Reamer, Minnesota, a few days later with Abe. We'll be with Abe.
Yeah, because I remember when I met him last year, he drove straight out. I don't know if he said he stopped or not, but all the way from Minnesota out to Ohio, he drove. He drove. I think he said. Oh no, he did stop. I think he said it took him 2 days. I don't know. Does that sound about right? Because I know he said it was a long. I forget how many hours he said, but it was a long drive.
I know it's a 14-hour drive to Cincinnati from where we live, and it's
like
probably a little bit closer
between you and me, though.
He lives closer to the cities.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because I know the MNBRT, they seem like they're a pretty good group. They got a lot of local followers as well, and and I know they're probably one of the big teams out there representing Bigfoot and everything.
He definitely is. He definitely is. He's a local hero, that's for sure.
Awesome. That's awesome. So we're talking about the conferences and everything. I am very excited to be having you girls come be a part of the event. It's I am so looking forward to it. So I don't know. I know you girls seem pretty excited about being a part of it. So
very, very excited. Very thankful for the invite and the opportunity to speak there. Oh my goodness, very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm hoping my older sister comes out, because I have family in Chester, Virginia, which is a suburb of Richmond. So yes. I'm wondering how many of my sisters are going to come out there. Yes, I do have a sister.
Well, she's only an hour and a half east, about an hour and a half, 2 hours east. Because I used to live in Chesterfield, which is borders Chester, Virginia. So yeah, so Chesterfield County, whatever. Yeah, because I lived on the west end, which is because if you go in Chester, it's real nice down there. It's all on the outskirts of the. You're in the that's all part of the nice area, because you go anywhere north of there, you're running into the excuse my language, but shithole Richmond. So, but that's awesome though. We are actually working on really throwing this out there. And one thing I am very excited and proud to announce, there's a lot of people supporting our event. Not just you girls, but the Ohio Night Stalkers, which I plan on getting on here very soon. Mike Miller and Mike Feltner, and they have a very huge following themselves, and they have a lot of support too. And the Ohio Night Stalkers also being one of our sponsors, which they've really helped out a lot, big time. So we have so many people that are really, rooting for this, especially Creature Replica, Jeff Byers. I know he personally had told me that he wants this to be the new biggest event here on the East Coast. So, and that there to me is exciting, because Creature Replica, they're a big time vendor. They're also the Ohio Night Stalkers sponsor for. So that's to me, that's big stuff. So we have, June 30th and July 1st. It's going down right here in Fishersville, Virginia, at the Augusta Expo. As you may see here on the screen, it's the ECBRO's first annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference, and of course, like I said, this is our first annual event. It's already looking huge because tickets are still selling till this day. We got awesome. We got a good variety of vendors already, filling up, spots, and I think a lot of people may be interested in Chaos Mountain Brewing Company. If you love your beer, you're gonna love Chaos Mountain Brewing Company because they'll be there serving Squatch Ale, which is a very dark ale. It's has a sweetness to it, but it will sneak up on you. Trust me, I've drank it enough to know. So.
Oh, I'm so gonna be at that one. I don't drink a lot, but when I do, it's good.
There you go.
Well, now.
I don't know if I should be intimidated by that. I'm Irish.
Well, Zach is our MC, and he's going to be doing the announcements. So we need his speech clear when he's talking to everybody. So.
Ooh,
my speech ain't even clear enough whenever I'm sober.
Oh, Lord. So.
Oh, and I thought Zach might be the one volunteering to wear the Bigfoot costume.
I'm too short for that.
Well, Jennifer McDaniels actually presented a Bigfoot costume. She mentioned about bringing a Bigfoot up here, so I'm not sure who would be wearing that. We haven't discussed that yet. So.
Well, that's why I'm putting it out there. You need a volunteer.
Well, you know what? I know I'm the host of the event. I'll be all over the place, but maybe I might make a sneak appearance in the suit, try to surprise people. So.
You would be amazing in that suit. I tell you what.
You're tall enough.
Yeah.
So, why wear the suit? He already looks like one.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to do what I have to do.
Just laughing over there.
So, yeah, we'll see. Because when she told me that she will be able to bring up a Bigfoot suit, I was like, yes, that's what I want. I mean, I've been in discussions with other people about that. If we could make that happen, if Bigfoot can make an appearance there, that'd be awesome. So
everybody loves a Bigfoot walking around these events. I tell you what, we did. We had I was like, "Come here, big boy," and I had all kinds of kisses for him, and they were taking pictures all over the place. So,
well, I would, if I become Bigfoot, never mind. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. But
what is he thinking? Dirty mind.
Daniel J. Benoit, you behave now.
Bigfoot's a very huggable. If I become Bigfoot, he's gonna be very huggable.
Good.
I think we have a volunteer.
So,
mark that out.
Bigfoot is very curious too. His hands might be curious. Now let me stop.
Oh, no.
Some girls out there are probably really excited about going now. They probably are very excited about meeting you. I mean, Bigfoot.
Well, I need to talk with Jennifer McDaniels and get that confirmed, because if she's going to be bringing Bigfoot up here, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. So.
Oh my gosh, you know what Donkey Kong is? I thought I almost said that the other day, and I thought, oh no, he's too young to know what that was.
Oh my goodness, I know Donkey Kong.
I'm 23 and I know what Donkey Kong is.
Really? Wow, I talk to guys who are 23 and they don't even know what Star Wars is sometimes. And I go, these are not the droids you're looking for. And they look at me like, right?
Wow.
I'm like, you don't know what that means? Something.
Everybody these days knows Star Wars. I mean, I think some of them may not be familiar with the original Star Wars. I mean, I know the original Star Wars came out before I was born, so I'm sorry. I know I didn't come along to 1980, so.
Are you feeling old now, Jenna?
No, never as old as you are. No.
Oh.
I'm just teasing. We're pretty darn close as far as our ages. So
yeah,
we're
36.
Is that what we're going for? Are we 36? Is that what we're...
I'm not lying about my age. We'll just keep it unsaid.
Okay. I'm with her.
I'm a few months older than Jenna.
Okay, let's get back on task. This is kind of turned into Jerry Springer stuff.
Oh, no.
Then the ratings go straight up, right?
Regardless, I don't think you guys have to worry about whatever the age number it is. You guys are. You don't have to worry about that.
Well, thank you kindly.
So, you know what? I want to mention to the live chat, anybody who is watching, who has been following this show tonight, if you're not on the live chat and not sure how to find it, if you're watching and listening through your phone, if you scroll down directly below where you're watching, you'll find a live chat. It will pop up. If you're on your laptop, desktop, if you look on your top right-hand corner, you will see the live chat. If you have questions for these young ladies, please feel free. I am watching the live chat. So go ahead. We have about 15 minutes left. We'll run another 15 minutes. So
Jennifer McDaniel sent me an entire list of questions earlier.
Oh. Okay. Well, if you want to address any of them, that'd be great.
That is an entire interview, and she said she was sorry. She used to be a reporter. So
well, now part of what she's doing, which I really appreciate this, because she had asked me yesterday if she wanted to start doing a bio or a video bio post with all the speakers, and she asked me for permission. Would you mind if I contact them to do this? I said, absolutely. So part of this may be towards what she's working on right now. So, and then she'll probably end up doing a video call with you, video conference call or something later on. I know that's how she
if she goes and asks for my bio, she's going to have to give me an outline. Jen, you know how I'm hard to work with.
Yeah.
She was sending me voice calls all day yesterday trying to get my bio. I'm like, well, what do you want, my life story or what?
So I sent him one question at a time. So when I was driving, so he got the voice messages that way. All right. So she asks, what is the She Squatchers' primary purpose? And our purpose is to find Bigfoot, to establish communication and peaceful interaction. That's our purpose. We're an all-female team. We go out. We have taken men out with us before, and we call it our men experiments to see if it's different with men along. And it is. It's completely different. But as soon as they're gone, like literally one time we had the guys with us, and I was messaging my teammate from the back seat of the car, and I'm like, we need to ditch these guys because this place doesn't even feel like the same place. And she agreed. So we asked them to please let us out of the car and drive away. And we kept our walkie-talkies with, so that we could call them to come back and pick us up when we were ready. And as soon as they were gone, the whole place changed, and there was activity all around us. So it is completely different with guys there than it is with just us girls. So we found that they are pretty curious about us, and that's what we've been experiencing so far. It hasn't been too hard to get some interaction going on.
Awesome.
Our group dynamics, are we fun, educational, or a mixture of both? She asks. We are all kinds of fun. we have a lot of fun, and if there's anybody with us that's a big Debbie Downer, we don't want any Debbie Downers with us. We're all about having fun. We're all about peaceful, drama-free zone stuff. And we like to do this. It is fun for us, so we want to keep it lighthearted. There are times when things kind of have gotten a little bit scary. We try really, really hard not to be afraid. So, and even if it is kind of scary for a little while, afterwards we get this huge rush. I think anybody who's been out there having any kind of Bigfoot encounter and interaction type thing, they know exactly what I'm talking about with that rush that comes after. Why do we all believe in Bigfoot? And have we had encounters? We have. All kinds of different things have happened. but honestly, Jenna and I didn't really believe in Bigfoot in the beginning. And, I can listen to other people tell me about their experiences and whatnot. But it was when I started finding footprints, when I started having rocks being thrown at me or near me. They were landing like 3-4 feet away in front of me and bouncing. You could hear them coming down through the trees. They were being lobbed. You could tell they weren't trying to hit me with the rocks. They were just at one time being playful, telling us not to go that way. I found, usually when that happens, and it's happened multiple times, I just stop and open my awareness and try to see what is it that they're trying to say with this. And, the first time it happened, it felt very, very playful. And the second time that it happened, it was a don't come this way. And so I didn't go that way. And then the third time that it happened, and these are different places where this happened. The third time that it happened, it was don't come this way. So I went around. And so that's kind of what the feeling that I got from that. Again, I'm using my senses to determine what does that mean. Let's see. She wanted a list of some of our accomplishments, involvements, and adventures. We go on expeditions whenever we can, even when we're just doing scouting missions. I see you got a picture of Abe Del Rio up there with you, Daniel. Daniel without the big beard.
Yeah, Salt Fork State Park. That's exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah. So that's the guy we'll be hanging out with days after.
Did you color your beard?
Oh,
what?
There you go. There you go.
Looked like you used black Sharpie to do it.
You know what? That's what Michael Cook said right before he took the picture with me and Cliff Brackman. I said, "Shut up and take the picture." Yes, I used hair coloring stuff for men to hide the gray.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's see, what have we been involved in? We've done events with Abe Del Rio. We were doing the Bigfoot Days Festival. So, and we did that last year, and we were just asked to come back and speak at their event again this year. We also spoke at last year's Kansas City Paracon. Kansas City is a huge city, if you didn't know. And I was really shocked just this week. They contacted us again and asked if we would return. And so we'll be their headliner again this year. And so that was really fun. We were the only Bigfoot team at the Kansas City Paracon. And a bunch of the BFRO guys came from Kansas City to see what we had found. And they were really excited to see the things that we were sharing, our photographs and videos and things like that. Whenever we are traveling to an event, if we are driving there, we bring a TV, a bigger one, and we have it at our booth so that people can see on a bigger screen what it is that we've been finding. Because it's hard to see things on a little screen, but you put it up on something 40 inches or bigger, right? It's a lot easier to see. And people like that. Bigger is better when it comes to TVs.
And they get a chance to check things out for themselves and maybe tell us about something that maybe we missed. So
yes. Bobo, when we were at the CryptidCon in Kentucky last September, we were hanging out with Bobo and Michael Cook and Matthew Delph and the Ohio Night Stalkers and, oh gosh, who else was there? Everybody was there. Why weren't you there? But Bobo, he came over and there was a big group around our booth watching our TV because we had just found this huge stick structure in Minnesota in a remote area, really deep on the reservation. And it was a huge stick structure, and it was so intricately built, and there were towers that were 2-3 stories high in this thing. And Bobo was looking at it and he asked a zillion questions about the area. And I said, some people have asked if it could have been, a hunter, if a hunter could have made this. And I said, in this particular area, there is no hunting season. It's on the reservation where hunting is year round. And the hunting laws are completely different than off the reservation on this particular place. And when we are out there and we look a lot, that's where we look a lot of the time is on this reservation. we don't go out in camouflage. We wear bright colors, hunting colors. I wear bright pink, like neon pink.
Oh yeah.
Because one time I was in the woods out there, and the way that they hunt is somebody will drive the pickup truck, and there will be different guys standing in the back of the bed of the truck with their rifles on top of the truck, and they with spotlights pointing into the woods, and that's how they hunt. Well, look at my hair color right here. Does that not look like a deer?
Yeah.
I was terrified the first time I saw hunters coming on the edge on these little trails in the woods, driving like that, coming up and shining into the woods where I was at. I was terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I wasn't wearing bright colors. I'm like, I know that my hair looks like a deer. I thought we could get shot. And I remembered my great grandparents had been shot in the woods on the reservation there.
Oof.
Wow.
So we always wear bright colors. We are not trying to sneak up on anybody. We are loud and proud. And we
I
wear
love
neon
it.
colors.
We are loud and we are proud, gall darn it.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
you know,
Now you know
that's
why
another
I'm
thing.
scared when people from Chicago come down here to hunt.
Yeah, as far as being loud, that's one of the comments that were recently added to one of my videos, walking through the woods, and this one lady said, "Well, listen to him. Like, I guess the way she addressed it sounded like she was addressing everybody else. Listen to him. He's like so loud. No wonder he ain't gonna have nothing come near him." That's the one thing I tell people. Most of the activity that we ever experience, even with a crowd, I tell people just be yourself. But there's times to be quiet and times to just whatever. Our encounter happened while we were walking up that forest road from the lake. We were talking at normal tone. Well, what we experienced, nothing. I mean, they had all the time in the world to disappear and get further away, for us not to see them. If they didn't want to be seen, if they don't want, they were, we believe they were curious enough to hang around there. And I believe even when we're hanging out at camp, when they start coming in close and they do let us know, I mean, it's our talking, our conversating, whatever we're doing is drawing in their curiosity. I think anybody who, spends enough time out in the woods, especially Bigfooting, and, pays attention to detail, I think they'll learn that, it's not always about being quiet. That's one thing if you're hunting for wildlife. Sasquatch is a lot different. So yeah, I believe in being yourself. Don't try to be sneaky. Don't because even if a squatch is watching you, they're gonna see that. They're not stupid. I believe that they see that they'll sense that you're trying to be sneaky. You're trying to sneak up on something. What are you sneaking up on? If they think you're a hunter doing your hunt, they're not gonna want to come around you.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. It does have so much to do with intent. You go out there and you pretend to be something you're not. I mean, any animal's going to pick up on that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, Zach.
Hey. I don't mean to cut you guys off, but I want to let you guys know that today marks 3 years since the inception and the establishment of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters team. And for the first time live on there, I got Barn Burner with me. He wanted to say hello to everybody.
Oh, very awesome.
Say hi, bud.
Hi. Hey, Barn Burner.
They're saying hi to you. Yeah, I hear them. Hi.
He sounds shy. You don't have to be shy. We're a bunch of crazy people.
He said, all right, bye. He's not really much of a people person.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. When we were talking our silliness earlier, Bobcat Wong he made a comment on the live chat. He said, Bigfoot singles, LOL. I'm 36 years old. I'm a 36-year-old white single male from Cleveland, Ohio.
That's awesome. Is he trying to use this as a dating site?
I don't know.
Hey, Bobcat, how you doing?
Hi, Bobcat.
Are you coming to Virginia Bigfoot Conference? We'll see you there.
For every single white male who wants to meet the She Squatchers, Buy your tickets now. We may be able to arrange something special. It may include blow pops.
Very special.
It may include blow pops and Hershey Kisses.
Yeah, we got those.
Yeah,
We got those.
they got their blow pops. Just bring the kisses.
We always bring Hershey's Kisses to events. We always do.
Come
Look
by,
at
we'll
Zach.
give you a kiss. Mhm.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I think we're embarrassing Zach. He's got his face covered.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we going to get through all of Jennifer's questions?
I don't think so.
Sorry, Zach. Me and the She Squatchers, we have some behind the scenes silly jokes we talk about sometimes. So I thought it would be okay to bring them out publicly, have some fun.
I'm a little scared. I'm afraid to go to sleep tonight.
Uh-oh.
Well, if that scares you, you are in the wrong business.
That's right. That's right. A couple weeks ago, we had Danielle on my radio show, and and we were talking about having everybody bring us some blow pops. So I've got carameled apple tonight. Jenna's never seen that kind before, so I'm nanabooing that.
We find that one day.
Oh, real quick before you go on with any of those questions, Bobcat Wong goes on to say, "I wish I could come. I'd stay or get married there."
Oh.
So
That's awesome.
Well, I hope you come out, Bobcat. It'd be great to meet you. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be fun. Come on out and see us. Everybody come out. And I think my sisters are coming.
Yay.
So
there you go,
yeah.
Bob.
And for the young ladies, my brother who just became a doctor might be there.
Ooh, and how old is your brother?
Oh boy, my brother is 20. I think he's 29 now. I think.
There you go, ladies.
Yep. Yeah. He just became a doctor. So pretty exciting.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's see.
We just
Describe
lost
one
Jenna.
of the most interesting Bigfoot. Oh, Jenna, where'd she go? She'll come back.
Yeah.
So Jennifer McDaniels asks, describe one of the most interesting Bigfoot experiences that you've had. It's hard to choose just one because they're really, really crazy stuff that happens. Jenna, what is the most interesting Bigfoot experience that you've had?
Oh boy, the most interesting would have to definitely be the sand pits. It was incredible. Not only did we get to see those fabulous footprints up the hill, and I do have to apologize. I did, for some reason, my Google kind of shut off, so all I heard is Jenna. So I'm hoping I'm answering the question correctly. But no, definitely. When we got there, and Jen was right on. We were driving, and she was like, "Nope, you guys, right here. We got to back up. Let's go." Well, it was incredible because when we went in there initially, we just all kind of spread, and I believe there was 4 of us. There was the 4 of us on the team.
There was 3 of us.
Oh, was there only 3? Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Kimberly came the next day.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, we went out there, and within minutes, boom, it was found. So Jen was right on, and what she does is incredible. So definitely that time was the best, most exciting time for me personally. And that, I think, was the first big time that I actually went out. Wasn't it, Jen?
I think you'd been out before that, but that was when that was our first casting of footprints. I mean, it was really exciting for us.
Yes.
We were on a mission to get footprints casted, and we definitely found something to cast. But we also learned that casting footprints in a gravel pit is really hard to do, and they don't turn out very well. So when we were in Kansas City at the Paracon last year, and the BFRO guys came to talk to us, and they looked at all of our stuff, and they were really excited. It's really fun to watch them drool over the footprints pictures that we have, and they're like, "That is really cool," because it's way too steep of a hill, you can tell. And even Bobo said that couldn't have been a human, that couldn't have been a bear, that has to be a Squatch. And so everybody's always really excited about that one. But they always ask, how did your cast turn out? And I'm like, not good.
Yeah.
But we always ask for recommendations for people. If you have an idea for how we can do this better, we want to hear it. We're girls. We're just starting out. We don't know everything about this stuff. That was our first time we were trying to cast footprints, and we read everything and watched videos, and we were ready, but we weren't ready for gravel pit.
Yeah. I think if we would have just had a regular print to cast, it would have been no problem. But because it was the gravel pit, it was new territory, period. We didn't have any clue.
I do recall you showing me a picture of that of the tracks going up the hill there a while back, and I thought that was pretty impressive looking there. That was impressive.
Yeah, 55 miles an hour. We felt that.
And I don't know if you noticed the steepness of the hill, but it really was extremely steep. And when Jen was saying that we would take a few steps, we literally would, when we had to crawl up. And these steps were what did we decide? How many inches between or feet between each?
You have the list of that.
I do on my phone. Sorry, I don't have it with me. But no, I mean, for each step, we had taken 8 for one of their steps. From step to step, we had to take 8 because we'd take a step and our feet would go down, and then we'd pull up and take another step. So every 4 inches we'd we'd fall back 2. So it was just, it was really difficult. But,
yep. It was really awesome to watch the girls go up and down the hill. I didn't go up at all, and
it felt amazing. Once you got up there, it really did feel amazing. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. And then Nikki, our teammate Nikki Jordan, she looked like a bear climbing that hill. And I asked her, because she's Native American. She's a member of the tribe up there. And I yelled out to her, I said, "Hey, Nikki, are you Bear Clan?" And she said, "Yes, I am." "Why?" I said, "Because you look like a bear climbing that hill." And she's like, "Really?" And I said, I nicknamed her on the spot Climbing Bear. So she's Nikki Climbing Bear Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know how well the details show up in the picture here to you guys, but in person, I will tell you, in person, even my daughter was blown away. This was found earlier today up on the ridge up behind, well, not up behind, up across from our main camp, where we get a lot of activity, where everything takes place, everything that we experience. This track here was approximately around 16 inches. Do you guys see my mouse moving around right here?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get on the other screen. It might help. Let me try over here. You guys see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now right here, I should have brought the knife up a little bit more, but the heel actually started right up here. Here's a heel, and this is a right foot, because the small toe is down here. Up here, if you were in person, the big toe really stood out. It was right up here, and it comes down straight like this. And here's a heel, and going back out to the outside of the foot. And then the toe is arched up this way. And like I said, in person, there was no denying this in person. I did some video footage. I'm hoping maybe in the video showed up a little bit better. But I took this photo off my camera phone. I have my camcorder with me. Like I said, I took video off of that, which I have yet to upload. But yeah, I was very excited. Brianna was excited when she saw this too, because the lighting, it was, I was trying to find the best way to get show it up, because in photos, sometimes when it comes to tracks, they don't always show up best. So we were trying to either like throw a shadow in there or take the shadow out of there. She was standing just to the left of this, and I was trying to make sure she did not step in this, and I was trying to like get myself positioned just right. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if you guys can see this, but in person, this was exciting that we found this, because to me, this is not old. It's not new. I mean, I don't know how new it might be, but I could tell from the impression and the wetness right here, this is not old. This is telling me that, hey, they're moving around up there. And this is, like I said, right across from our main camp, right above where we had our encounter at.
And
right
can
here.
you just give us a length of the foot, or did you measure?
Yeah, the track was just about 16 inches. And at the bottom, you're looking about 3.5 to 4 inches here, and up here it gets about 6 to 7 inches up here. So,
Nice.
Yeah, it was a
Very
fairly
nice.
wide track. And the one thing I found about this here, the shape of this appears to be identical to a track that I found. Well, I wasn't alone. My father and I found a track down at the lake, which is just below this, off the side of the forest road that runs along the lake. And the shape and everything looks so identical. And it makes me think this may have been from the same subject. So
Very cool.
yeah, so I was excited. This was good stuff. This year was in a marshy area, and it was right along an old log trail that runs up through there. We've come across some bear scat, and a lot of coyote scat. And I actually have pictures and video of the coyote scat because there was something unique about that. Second time I found coyote scat with bear hair in it. I don't know if anyone has ever found that before, but there was coyote scat. Some of it had deer hair in it, and there was big clumps of black bear hair in it in separate parts of it. So I found that, I found that very interesting myself because in another whole location, a little further away from that area, up on another trail is where like I said, I found the bear hair in from coyote scat. So there's a good chance that maybe coyotes are taking down bears, which I don't know if that's something common or ever heard of before.
Now, do the bears hibernate there in the wintertime?
Some of them slow down. But most people think bears do hibernate. I have found bear signs and bear trackways in the snow, so they do move around during the winter times. Maybe not as much. A lot of them do kind of slumber down and kind of bunker down a little bit. But they slow down and everything, but they don't completely hibernate like a lot of people think they do. So, this like I said, but during the late fall season, they really get to grubbing because they're filling themselves up before they slow down. So,
up here they definitely do hibernate all winter long. So very rarely would you see a bear out of its den in the wintertime.
Got one more question here on the live chat for you guys. I think we're gonna leave this as the last question. This is from Bobcat Wong. What's your thoughts on the she-devil sightings and white-hair Bigfoot? Are they the same or different?
The she-devil. I don't know much about that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't either.
Neither do I.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I don't know anything about the she-devil, unless you're calling me names.
The she-devil
I'm seeing my aunt after curfew.
Oh no!
But I did ask Lauren Coleman about the different colors of hair of the Bigfoot, and I was asking him about the white ones versus the blonde, the dark brown, and the black. And he said that they are just like us. They have different hair colors, and when they get older, their hair turns white or gray. And I thought, well, doesn't that make sense? Because even my dog, her hair turned white. She was a golden retriever. Her hair turned white the older she got.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that make sense?
That happens with deer too. People don't realize. Yeah, people don't realize that happens with deer. But I believe a lot of animals, that will become more gray and white. So that's another thing I thought about too, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I've seen a white squatch." When they say white squatch, I'm thinking about like a white rabbit, albino. I mean, maybe there is albino, but like you said, the color of the hair will turn as you age. Even a chimpanzee or gorilla, their hair, most gorillas, for example, a lot of them already had that kind of a gray texture in their hair or fur. But yeah, I think it's from aging. We don't know if it's albino, if it's something that's natural, from the start, because we don't have that information to throw out there. It could be just an older squatch. Yeah, because here in Virginia, a majority of reports of color is the reddish brown. That's very common. Then again, I've heard of a few black Black is another second common one. I don't think I ever not once heard of a white one. I think
There
Fred
was a white one in Minnesota.
Oh, really? Oh,
there was a
wow.
big sighting in Bibina, Minnesota, and that's where we went for our very first expedition. And because there had been that recent sighting there, and it was a white one.
Oh, okay. Now I know Fred Canny here. He had mentioned something about a white one, but I think one time, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you don't hear. I mean, you hear about it, but I don't think it's really a common thing. But like I said, most of the ones I've heard around here, as far as sightings go, were reddish brown, and then some black ones. Just north of my research area, my main area where I cover, one on a main highway that runs into West Virginia. From about 6 years ago, there was a report of two of them running across the road, and they were described as reddish brown. But approximately 2 years ago, on the same highway, just a little further into here into Virginia, and this is all part of the national forest, there was two black ones that ran across the road. So that there seems to be a very common area for Bigfoot trafficking or road crossings, because again, this is just north of my research area, probably about 35. No, I wouldn't say not miles, but as far as if I had to drive there from inside my research area, it'd probably take me 30 minutes to get there.
Yeah. If we're in the area and you ever want to take us out, please let us know, because that would be something we'd love to go out with you and see what you've got. And
well, I do need to repost the schedule, because as far as June 29th, that Friday, the day before the event, I mean, I'm going to be at the venue setting up and everything. However, I do plan on there's going to be people that's going to be wanting to camp. They'll be camping at the venue. I have several tent campers, and Friday night, I put it on the schedule for anyone who wants to go out on a Bigfoot hike and do some Bigfoot exploring. We do have everybody can meet up at the venue, and I will take them out because Mr. Fred Canny, I've already spoken to him. We're going to take everybody down to the what we call the Coal Road. It is part of the national forest, and Fred Canny will be in charge of conducting that hike and everything for that Friday evening. We could head out earlier. It's just because I'm going to be at the venue all day, so hopefully it's not going to take all day to set up. So anybody that wants to come out for the Bigfoot hike, I'll try to get more details. I'll try to see if I could make that timing a little earlier so we can spend more time there. Zach, I'm not sure what time Zach will be there. He'll probably be there around noon or so, I'm guessing. And then around midnight, Friday, around 11:30, 12 o'clock, I got to pick Baltimore up from the airport. So, yeah. So, but yeah, Friday night, if you guys happen to come into the area, you want to go out and do some hiking that Friday, we're going to all meet at the venue. And then the hiking location, the woods, about 15 minutes from there. Yeah, roughly about 15-minute drive. Now, after our 2-day event, June 30th and July 1st, after our 2-day conference, we do have our week-long Bigfoot camping expedition, and that's going to be from July 2nd through the 7th. So, and that camping is free. So anybody that wants to come out there, come prepared, bring your own food, gear, your shelter, and all your night lights and all your goodies. And it's going to be fun. So I think we are expecting a fairly decent turnout for that camping trip.
That's awesome. Have you gotten a lot of responses then?
Yes and no. I know there's people that responded that said they're going to be there or part of that. They have not signed up on the online event for it, which is no big deal. But I like these setting up online events because it gives you a rough idea of what to expect. But it's hard to keep track of who said it's going to be there versus who's already put, click going on the online event. But, so, like I said, the camp is free, so it's. So we'll wait and see. We'll find out. Regardless,
it's a great opportunity. So you guys, if you're out there listening, watching anything, do it. You may just find something.
Oh yeah. And one thing I'm telling people, come on out. this is our first annual event. It's going to be huge. This is going to be history in the making. This is, I've already got people asking for speaker spots for 2019, which is awesome. We do have a couple of our speakers. I already actually have a few already confirmed for 2019 already. And of course, Zach Sterrick's one of them. And then we got people out of the country. We got Mr. Andy McGrath from the UK. And we got Josh, also known as, he goes by Yowie Down Under on YouTube. He's from Australia. He'll be coming up. He ventures up here every so often. And he plans on being a big part of this. So,
boy, that's going to be a culture shock.
Yeah, so he's actually trying to find a way to contribute for this year already. So once we get through that, further information will be shared later on. So, yeah, because he wants to do everything he can, because he's been following me for a long time and wants to be a part of this. And I've already spoke to him about a spot for next year, and he's all down for it because he will be up here in the U.S. spending some time up here then. Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot to look forward to. Let's get through this year, and then we'll take it from there. Like I said, it's going to be big. It's going to be historic. We got one of the major universities here, local, the James Madison University. We have a young lady. She is actually part of their newspaper staff. She's like the chief editor of the newspaper. She is doing a story on the Bigfoot in the Shenandoah Valley. So she will be attending the event, interviewing all the speakers, and get some information to be a part of her story. So that's going to be exciting. So
my brother went to James Madison University.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Chris.
I live like 10, 15 minutes from there. So
wow,
really?
What a small world.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, I live where I'm living now. It's called Mount Crawford. Harrisonburg is right there. I mean, Interstate 81 is about 3/4 of a mile. I jump on 81, go up 3 miles. I'm there. So, yeah.
Didn't you say there's like a Hershey's near you?
There is in Stewart's Draft. Yep, out there by where we're gonna. You have to ride right by it to take where we're going to be taking people for Friday night. You got to ride right by the Hershey's plant. So,
oh, yum. I bet that smells so good.
Well, Hershey's, and then right about a mile and a half, 2 miles from there is Little Debbie's. So, yeah. Yeah, we have all. Yeah, it's a big industrial area. You got Little Debbie's, you got Hollister. They make all the medical supplies and all that stuff for their hospitals. And then you got, like I said, Little Debbie's on the other side of that. And then you get the big Target distribution all over there. All the big distribution centers and factories are all over there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. so
that is awesome.
I know I've been rambling on. Is there anything you guys want to throw in there before we jump off?
I'm just excited to come out and see everybody out in Virginia. And, I've been telling everybody that Virginia is the beginning and the end for us on our schedule right now. And we're going literally from one coast to the other coast this year. Awesome. Your event is the first one on our schedule this year. And after we start yours, we're on the road running for about 6 months.
Sweet.
So, and we always like to go Bigfooting if we can in the places where we're at. So like even in September when we'll be at the Crypticon in Kentucky, we've planned extra days there to go Bigfooting with Squatchman.
Shout out to Squatchman. Squatchman. I really do. You're awesome.
We went camping at his hotspot last year, and that was so much fun. Awesome. And so we just love it when we get invited to other people's hot spots, and we get to have that extra time to hang out and do those things. And it's fun to make friends everywhere we go. And in November, we're going out to the Sasquatch Summit in Ocean Springs, Washington with Lori Simmons. And we're going to be camping with her at her hot spot because she's been having trouble finding women that are brave enough.
Oh, wow.
And so this is perfect for us because we've been doing what we call the all-female Bigfoot experiment.
Right.
And so we're going to do further our research on our experiment with her in her hotspot and help her with her research area. So that's going to be fun.
Very awesome.
So
now,
yeah,
I see a piece of paper being held up. What is that about?
Yeah, Zach, go ahead and share that with us, Zach. He wants to get that plugged in too. He's got this event coming up this year as well. So,
yep. The Southern Illinois Monster Hunters first annual Bigfoot seminar taking place in my hometown of Crab Orchard, Illinois at the public library. It's free to the public this year. We're going to be in a little single wide trailer. That's how big the library is. I just sat down one day at the library when we was doing a shred with work, and my boss said, if you want to talk to him about anything, talk to him about Bigfoot. He'll talk all day about that. And I just went on. I showed him on a map because where I live at is right inside the library's district. And they said, would you be interested in giving a seminar or presentation? I said, yeah, sure. So mark this on your calendars. Where? Crab Orchard Public Library in Crab Orchard, Illinois. When? July 27th of 2018 at 6 p.m. The doors open up. Topic, Bigfoot in Illinois. I will be speaking. We'll be having a meet and greet for the first half hour. For an hour, we're going to be having the seminar, which I'll be giving, and then the last half hour we'll be having a Q&A. Like I said, it's free to the public. If anybody that's listening in and plans on coming, if they have a sighting during the meet and greet and the Q&A, feel free to share it. We're going to do it like a little bit of a town hall style. Like I said, it's free to the public. It's at the Crab Orchard Public Library. I'll be having some of my merchandise there to be sold and all of that. I love meeting new people, so everybody come on out. You get to meet my Bigfoot cutout I got sitting over here next to my truck, Mojo. We'll be there. A couple of the members of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters will be there. Mole and Trapper John and undoubtedly will be there. Be sure to come on out and look us up on the Facebook. We got the event page going on my Facebook and on the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters team Facebook page for our events that's going on. So be sure to come on out for that. And also, in case you guys haven't seen, I got my decals in, made by a local place called Covey Custom Creations. If anybody wants to get a hold of one, I've got limited stock. Only 12 are left. They're only $5 a piece. If you're interested in getting one, message me and we'll work it out. If you can see right here in the shadow, it's just a Bigfoot with a Bigfoot silhouette, and it says SIMH in it. It goes on your windows, put it on your boat, put it on whatever, wherever you want. Once you pay for it, it's yours to do with as you please.
very awesome.
that's awesome.
Also, season 3 of Backwoods Investigations is going to be kicking off here pretty soon. I've been taking a break, picking up new guests. I plan on having some big names on my show, such as Adam Davis, possibly Ken Gearhard, Dan Lindholm, and hopefully, if he can, Bill Lancaster hopefully will be on there too, and Matt Delph. And especially you, I want to send out the invitation to you too, the She Squatchers. If you guys would be willing to come on my show, I'd be more than happy to have you guys on.
Boy, that sounds great.
We'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And also, I'm going to plug in for you guys too. May 16th at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be on the Journey Radio with the She Squatchers.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Very awesome.
That's my
Very
show. We're often talking Bigfoot on there. It's not always Bigfoot, but it's Bigfoot quite often.
I'll be
I'm
looking
all
to
about
get a
Bigfoot all
royalty
the time.
check here pretty soon.
There you go. Daniel, I have a question for you.
Yes, I'll try my
I see
best
that
to
you
answer.
have the. I see you have the lineup of speakers for the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference.
Yes.
How in the world did you get all these people to say yes? That's a nice lineup.
Well, originally there was a few others, and of course, I started this first of all, I started this whole thing planning this actually in a year in advance, because this is the first time. I didn't know how everything was going to go down. There was a couple I had, which I had to make some changes due to the funding. So, and I had to take what I had to work with, with the sponsorship that I did have. And, it took me a little while to get things in order and get the priorities straight. But everything's a good to go situation. And now some of these individuals I've gotten to meet. A couple of them I know a lot of people are probably not familiar with. Mr. Ernest Solar, for example, third one from the left here on the top. He is a local here out of Virginia. He's also a professor out of a university with a PhD. He is actually a big-time Bigfoot researcher. Him and his wife, they travel, they venture, they do a lot of exploring. He himself has some experiences. And I actually met him at the Chaos Mountain Brewing Company when they had a Bigfoot event down there here in Roanoke County, Virginia. And that's where I actually met him and his family, and where he was selling one of his books, as one of his new books, The Spirit of Sasquatch. And so I've actually gotten to meet him and had a lot of talks with him, and told him what I was going on, what I had going on down there. And one thing led to another. He was one of the first few that I ended up establishing as a confirmed speaker. Nice. Another individual, Mr. Darby Orcutt from North Carolina State University. He is on the staff down there. He's a libertarian. A lot of people, one thing about people that don't know about him, he's actually been on the down low when it comes to Bigfoot research. Thing is, he is involved with a project that was more private. His latest colleague is the late Dr. John Bindernagel. Right before Dr. John Bindernagel's passing, Darby Orcutt received several copies of tracks from a trackway to be analyzed further for studies and observations through their lab and their the university's forensics and everything else down there. Darby Orcutt is also involved with other biologists and primatologists in a Bigfoot project, like I said, is being kept on the down low. He shared some information, which I believe he may share some of it coming up this event. And a lot of it, as far as one of the things he's working on is with scientific protocol, getting mainstream science to be more accepting to a lot of the alleged evidence that we do come across that science will not consider as evidence towards the existence. With what he's got going on, I believe that's going to be a very fascinating presentation. So yeah, Darby Orcutt, Ernest Solar, like I said, they're both from universities, and and then the rest of the lineup, they're pretty much well known. A lot of them really don't need no introduction. And of course, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, she's another resident from North Carolina, which she touches base on a lot of spiritual medicines and everything else. And I believe, you guys will share a lot of common interest and ideas, relating to Sasquatch, and then as far as the energy field side of things. So it should be very interesting. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, her website is thesecretoferything.com. You can check that out. And she wanted, I know when I was doing the schedule, she wanted to be, she wanted to make sure she was listed on the same day as Ronald J. Moorhead, because she said with a lot of what she is presenting kind of goes along with what he's going to be doing. So we all know Ed Brown. Sit down with Ed Brown. Now Ed Brown, Dan Lindham, the Big Truth Productions, they're also one of our other sponsors. So they've been out there promoting. So I appreciate what they do. Ohio Night Stalkers, Mike Miller, Mike Feltner. I am so glad to have them.
Love those guys.
Event. Oh yeah,
we love those guys.
Absolutely. Mr. Baldemar Galvan Jr., resident from Texas. He's a Native American. He's from Apache descent, and I'm excited to have him a part of this event. I hope I told him, I said, man, if you come up here, you got to dress out in one of your outfits. I said, that'd be cool.
That would be.
Yeah. So I said,
and he's going to come up in his regalia?
something. I'm not sure what he's going to be wearing, but I'm sure whatever it is going to be very cool. So, Mr. Bill Lancaster of Bilko Productions will be doing his a movie premiere up here of Culture Bigfoot and giving his presentation.
We're in that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're in Culture Bigfoot.
Very awesome. I'm not. So anyway, no, it's all good. And then of course we all know Mr. Tracy Arnold. Tracy Arnold. I think he is in that too, isn't he?
He is. Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
He actually made it to the premiere of the event. It was premiered in Norton, Virginia, March 17th. We had the first theatrical premiere. And so there it is, everybody. You can go to VidiSpace and purchase or at Amazon, Cultured Bigfoot DVD documentary. She Squatchers in the house right there.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
I think I figured out why you weren't in the movie, Daniel.
Why's that?
Because if they put you in the movie, they wouldn't sell anything.
Oh, that's not true. I know he has lots of female fans.
I just give him a lot of crap because he gives it right back to me.
Everybody go boycott Zach.
Oh, no.
I just joking. And then finally we have Mr. Dallas Morgan. He is a movie film director and producer of the movie Sightings. Sightings is a science fiction based movie drama horror flick. And that movie there is actually based off of one of the theories that people surround Bigfoot with the UFO connection. So if you haven't checked that out, you can find that on Amazon as well. You could actually buy it, the digital download. You can buy that on demand as well. I think if you buy it off on TV, through TV on demand, I think it's like $15.99. You could buy it. If you go to Amazon, you can get it for half price, I believe, like $7.99. So, but I seen a video trailer to that. It looks pretty thrilling. So,
now is he showing the movie at the event? Is that going to be shown?
Yes, he will be showing that as well. So he's our second movie premiere showing.
Are you going to have popcorn for us? Popcorn?
Well, I'll see what I could do. I have two food vendors. One sells barbecue, and the other one has a variety of food. So I don't know. I know they have cotton candy that will be there. So I'm not sure about popcorn.
They're going to get rich off of me. I love to eat.
I am
You can
so
look
excited.
at me and tell why they call me Blimp.
But here's the thing, Daniel. I've been to a lot of events, and one of the things that I see fall through the cracks in a lot of different events is the lack of food vendors.
Oh yeah.
We went to Crypticon last September, and it was a top-notch event. I'm going to say it was amazing. We had a great time, but there were no food vendors there. I starved all day. There was not even a place to get a soda.
No mind.
So when I saw you have food vendors on the list of vendors already, I was like, yes, we're not going to starve.
Well, I mean, the other thing too, I looked at it too. When I went to Ohio last year. When I went last year was the first time. Yeah, they have the Salt Fork State Park. They have the lodge, and they have a restaurant there. Don't get me wrong, the food is awesome at the restaurant, but man, you gotta have money if you're gonna go. If you're on a limited income or if whatever it may be, you got to make sure you have money because the food is not cheap. I'm being honest. It's good food. I give their food rating. What I had there was very awesome. I had their burgers. I forget what the type of burger I had, but it was big and it was very tasty. It was messy, but it was good too. So yeah, but yeah, that's why
ain't gonna be cheap if you feed me either. I'm raiding your fridge as soon as I get to your place.
Well, if you find anything, let me know.
Oh, that's funny. I'm glad we're not staying at your house because.
No, well,
you're on mute.
If Zach wants something to eat, there's goats and cows right across the street here. So, right. So.
I was just on mute. I was just saying, you guys are so awesome. I love talking to you guys. You guys rock. This is so much fun, and it's going so fast, too fast.
Yeah.
So, but were there any questions that we didn't answer fully, or were there any questions that we could answer? I know we haven't answered.
There's still questions on Jennifer McDaniel's list if you wanted me to go through them.
Yeah, because looking on live chat, the only thing that was left under there from Bobcat Wong, he says, Jen, can you do a reading on me? When will I find me a wife that will go bigfooting with me? Jen, by the way, you're a very beautiful woman. Love that smile. And he goes on to say, the world needs more of you, Jen. Your kind heart.
Aw, Jen, you're loved.
I feel so loved. Well, I think that your best chance for finding a Bigfoot or a female is at these conferences because, hey, if they're interested in Bigfoot, they're going to be there, right? And why not start that up? Hey, everybody, if you're single and you like Bigfoot, come to the Bigfoot conference and hook up.
That's actually a really good idea.
Hey, when I went to Ohio, I'll be honest.
Bobcat's going to be there, ladies.
Yeah, when I went to Ohio last year, I was kind of shocked. There was some very pretty women there. So, there you go. So.
And I got to tell you, whenever we do an event, every woman there wants to buy our T-shirt right off our back because they love Bigfoot. So there's lots of women at these events that love Bigfooting. So come on out to the event, and I'm sure that you'll find somebody that you like.
There you go. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think everybody, there's going to be plenty of time to meet and greet. The speaker schedule, which is listed on our event page, which is listed. If you go on Facebook, it's listed under the ECBRO First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference. We do have a website with some information on it. So you go to virginiabigfootcon.com. I haven't updated it recently, but it has all the information you need to know for the time being. What else we got? Give our event page a like, share it around if you have not done so already. Like I said, all the speakers, some of the scheduling, the speakers are scheduled close together. However, like I said, there will be plenty of time for meet and greet. It's a 2-day event. So you'll be plenty of time to associate throughout the event. And so Zach, being our MC, hopefully he gets, he's been getting himself familiarized with everybody. So like I said, he'll be doing the announcements of the speakers, and I think we will, from what I understand, I do believe there will be some raffling going on, some door prizes. And
I love raffles.
Yeah, and I do believe the Ohio Night Sockers will be doing, they'll be organizing the items for that, because the items that will be for that are coming from Jeff Byers of Creature Replica, which he is contributing to this event with some figurines and some posters. So that's going to be exciting.
He's got some cool stuff. Cool stuff. His booth was across from ours last year.
Oh, yeah. He had a nice display in Ohio when I seen how they set up. It's awesome. So
I've been trying to get him to make action figures of you and me, Daniel.
Oh my goodness! Good luck with that one.
What a great idea! We can have She Squatchers action figures next to Bigfoot.
I think that would be so fabulous.
If they do one of you girls, they'll have to make it look like cave women with skimpy outfits.
Hey, bobbleheads would be nice.
Oh my!
I don't think there's enough plastic in the world to make a doll after me, though.
Oh no,
dear Lord! That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Oh.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're having a lot of fun right now. I hope everybody, if anyone who had tuned in on this a little later than if they missed anything from the beginning, go back and watch this from the beginning. Share this video around. Take advantage of it. Share it in your Bigfoot group. Share it on your different networks. I have several different community groups on Google. I share this on, so take advantage of that. Help spread the word. And there is an online flyer I just created. So I know people have been asking about flyers to pass things around. I know Tracy Arnold, he's going to be attending the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. And he said he wanted to promote the event as much as possible. So I sent him a couple different flyers to him to print out. So he'll be printing them out through the school that he works at. And oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I just say about the Ohio Night Stalkers? I have a little inside information about them that I can share. They have these incredible sound clips from their Bigfoot encounters in the woods.
Yes.
And they were featured on a TV show called Terror in the Woods, episode 3. If you can go watch it, you should watch it. I was screaming, get in the car.
Yeah. It's called Hunted by Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah, episode 3. So of Terror in the Woods. And you should go check that out. But I know that when they give their presentation in Virginia, they're going to be sharing those sound clips from that night.
Yes.
And recently, they were just analyzed by David Ellis, and they were confirmed.
That's right.
They were confirmed to be a primate above the size of a baboon, bigger than a baboon, unclassified primate in Ohio.
Yes. I remember Mike actually shared that information with me. I think it was Mike Miller who shared that information with me. And when I heard that, you don't know how exciting I hear when someone says, when someone confirms or tries to point, it was primate of, not human primate, but non-human primate. And a lot of people hear me say, because, a lot of what I share with my research, I share that everything points more towards a non-human primate. Now, I'm not saying they're equal with them, but I do believe they are a primate of their own kind. But they have so much similarities, so much behaviors, characteristics that we observe and we experience. People have no idea that it is coming. These are what our non-human primates do. The things that we find, they're all behaviors. They're all traits of a non-human primate. And I think what it is, a lot of people are so unfamiliar with what a non-human primate does, for whatever reason, they don't want to dismiss it. Everybody's on the human side of things. Oh, it's a type of human. It's a type of human. Well, the thing is, as much as I'm sharing why I feel and believe that it's more related to a non-human primate than it is human, because, what do we have that says that they're human? Are they making fires? Are they building houses? Are they building, what is it, besides the anatomy of the most of the feet that we find? They look more humanoid. That's the only thing we might have. But if you listen to like John Bindernagel and a lot of what he and so forth, the way these professionals study and analyze the foot and the way the toe is still primate. But the human foot is not enough to go by. I mean, the tracks that we find is not enough to go by to call it a human. Then you still have these yahoos out there that still say, well, according to Melba Ketchum, I said, I don't want to hear nothing about Melba Ketchum. I'm sorry. Because there's nothing that got confirmed. I'm not going to get into that because there's some Melba Ketchum worshipers out there still left out there floating around after her whole thing failed. I could direct you to several sources that, of course, people have excuses for that too. But I'll tell you a good one to talk to about that is Dr. Todd Disotell, Dr. Haskell Hart. They'll break that down and, they basically chewed her up and spit her out already. So they know all that work like the back of their head. So that's what they specialize in. But so anyway, to get off that, there's just too much to point towards them being more primate. Now, like for the record, I'm not calling them. I'm not. Some people saying, "Are you calling them equal to a chimpanzee?" No, but again, there's a lot of similarities there. You need to look at it. And one thing I tell people, if you want to understand where I'm coming from, do some research, do some homework on chimpanzees, gorillas, and even the other primates. Look at what they do. Look at what they eat. You'll understand that they share a lot of these behaviors. What we believe that they're eating here, of course, is confirmed on the non-human primate side. They do eat meat. They do chase deer. They're big on vegetation. There's all these things. They do stack rocks. They do bang trees. They do break trees. All the non-human primates, chimpanzees and gorillas, they do all this. But yet we're experiencing it and finding it here. So that's all I'm saying. But so enough of me rambling. So But yeah, that's all
I think you're very passionate about Bigfoot.
I do too.
I'm picking that up about you.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Well,
the energy in the room just kind of felt no.
Well, I like it.
I
like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like Bigfoot, and I cannot lie.
Oh, see, she's always singing too.
I do all the time. I sing what I say. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, sing it, girl.
You know it. Give me a song, I will do it.
Look at Zach.
And I'm a backup dancer.
No, I do have to say that's one thing that Jen and I do out there too, is we are very much ourselves when we're out there and we're looking and we're researching and things. We are very much ourselves. And yes, I will throw out a ditty and she'll throw out a ditty and we just have a good old time. But like I said, our intent is just to be who we are out in those woods and see what we can come up with. And if we could communicate or even create a trust with a Bigfoot, that would be amazing, and we would be happy to share everything.
Absolutely. And now, real quick before we go, you talking about building a trust with Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one thing I share with a lot of people that that any of us that call ourselves Bigfoot researchers, anybody that believes they are habituating Bigfoot or whatever, or a specific location. Habituating and researching, we know they're two totally different things. And if you spend enough time in an area, for example, you go, there's a location in the woods that's, there's a routine there. Wildlife, deer, mainly deer. Deer's a good example, and bears too, but bears is a little bit more unpredictable than deer. Deer have a routine. Deer, for example, will use the same game trails. It may not be every day, but they use the same game trails. Have you ever looked out in the field? Zach may be familiar with this. If you ever looked out in the field on a farm that has cows, look where those you'll see where those cows travel. You might see them all over the place, but there's worn out paths. Deer do the same thing. That's what creates a game trail. They're they're beaten paths. These are patterns. These are highly used patterns, and these are their routine. Sasquatch has, I believe, from what I observed, they have the same routine. Yeah, they might switch it up on us once in a while, but yet if you stay in an area long enough, you will come to realize the activity where it spikes during the different times of year, the temperatures. You'll know when it's dead based off the weather. And certain times of year where you document the time. I have timestamps. I can tell you almost every time of the all these different months, different times of the year, and it never fails because there's a routine that goes on. They stay on this routine. It's like a schedule, like Monday through Friday. I have a routine. I have a schedule. I know my routine. I got to get up for work in the morning. I have this time I have to get up. I know my time to get ready, and I have a time to get there and to clock in. Same thing. Now, unless we get overtime thrown on us, then our routine's going to change. It's the same life pattern that a Sasquatch or any other wildlife has. The deer have a routine, but if it gets interrupted from a hunter, they got to switch up. They got a backup plan. They got to go. They got to follow up. They got to do something else. I call this simple logic. It's easy understanding if you take the time to consider it. Every wildlife has a routine. Sasquatch, again, from my observations, I know when they're going to be active. I can almost tell you this. I don't speak a lot of bluntly like this because I don't want to come across as a know-it-all. But this is my area. This is what I know about my area. They may behave and act totally different somewhere else. But anybody who might be researching that area, I don't care what state you live in, where you live in, what country you live in, if you believe and know without a doubt that you have something there, then you need to spend time there. You need to dedicate yourself to spending time in that area. You need to observe the changes. You need to know, hey, when do they come around? When do they start getting active? When they start doing this? These are little simple things you need to pick up on and just start making notes of it. I keep notebooks. I have a lot of notes and notebooks. I make journals about it in my computer here. I mean, I got topographical maps I make notes on from encounters, certain things I find, where I mark locations where I found tracks. I mean, when I take you out in the woods there, I mean, blindfold me. I'll take you out there. I'll show you whatever. I can show you things. I know the woods too well out there in my area because I spend enough time out there. I've done my homework, So these are things that people need to start paying attention. And the one thing I get tired of hearing when people start trying to present information, I ask them about bears, because what they're trying to show me, they're trying to show, I think this is Bigfoot scat. I said, no, that's bear scat. Well, I don't have bears in my area. You don't know what you're doing then, because you're not observing. They don't know the pattern. Bears are very unpredictable. Like I said, bears travel and they move around areas, unlike deer move to the higher ground certain times of year. They come down, but yet they have their highways, they have their travel routes, their game trails. People need to start researching wildlife a little bit more and give Bigfoot a break. They really need to, there's a lot of people involved with Bigfoot research. They need to give Bigfoot a break and start paying attention to wildlife. Because if you start paying attention to wildlife and observing what they do, there's other things going to start standing apart. You're going to start seeing a big difference. Wait a minute, this ain't a deer. This ain't a bear. I know the bears and deer are doing this. Wait a minute, this is it. This is something. This has got to be something different. What is this? Okay, then then you can start considering. Okay, let's get Bigfoot on the brain here. People go out there, out in the woods, and got Bigfoot on the brain nonstop. Everything's got to be Bigfoot related. They're not considering, this tree break might be from, they're not considering it. This could be from weather. This could be from a bear, because bears break trees too. Bears bend trees too. They don't consider all that. They don't consider the weight of ice and snow on a tree over a period of time. If it stays down long enough, the fibers are stretching. It's going to stay bent. These are little things that they don't consider. So basically what I'm saying, this is simple science. You don't have to be a scientist to consider, to look at things scientifically. It's all common sense, to be honest with you. So, this is the way.
Not rocket science.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's and by observing and considering these other possibilities, this is where being objective. This is how we learn to become objective on a lot of what we observe. I love going out there and finding something, and I'll post a picture. I'll take pictures of so. Well, this could be, that's a lot of what I'll share is the possibility this could be Bigfoot related. But then again, we got to consider what else is responsible and what is known to do that. So again, I'm sorry, I'm rambling on again.
No, it's all good. I mean, you're saying everything that people need to know.
Right. I mean,
it's not just Bigfoot. It does have to do with all of the different animals in the forest. It does have to do with the weather. It does have to do with, every aspect. So you really need to learn quite a bit when you are going in the fields.
Yeah. I mean, like I tell everybody, how could you know the unknown if you don't know what is known? It's one thing I say all the time. If you don't know what is known, you can't consider something unknown. So again, to me, it's simple logic. It's common sense. That's the way I look at it. So
yeah.
I got a little thing to share. I was trying to get it in earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like you was talking about stuff that you had trouble in the field getting a cast. If you can't get a cast like you guys found in that rock pit, here's a little bit of something that Daniel taught me a little bit about. I keep this in my backpack. I always keep my field kit in my backpack. I always have a tape measure. I have my notebook that I take my notes in. And then I keep this Angel of Mine baby powder. That's what I dust my footprints with to make them more defined.
There you go. Yeah, remember the one time I did that to the trackway? Me and Greg and his son found.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's where I got the idea to use baby powder, because I didn't have plaster of Paris.
Right.
And I was going to Dollar Tree on my way to Fern Cliff, and I saw this on the shelf, and I said, "What the heck? I might as well get it. May never know I might need it."
Right. Yeah, dry plaster. Yeah, whatever you have available. Well, yeah, it's awesome because especially if you want to take a picture of the trackway and you can see it in person, but again, a lot of times if you're trying to take pictures of it, you're looking at the picture. I said, well, it's not showing up through the picture. Yeah, then use the plaster for detail, or in your case the powder, same thing. But So yeah, it's that, and another thing I like to use prior to making a cast. And this here, I got this from Dr. Jeff Meldrum. It's part of something he put out. Actually, in one of his pamphlets, and I do it if it's possible. If I have hairspray, I always apply hairspray to the track before pouring the plaster. One, it will eliminate a lot of the debris, a lot of the loose debris that may be in the track. The other thing is, um, it'll help preserve the details of the track as well. I'll spray it for almost a minute all the way around, let it sit for 2 to 5 minutes, and then go about it. But, now, a lot of my tracks that I have cast, they show good detail, but they're not as pretty as what a lot of these other people come across. Some people have the perfect looking cast. It's like, how the hell are they doing this? I mean, they must be finding these tracks in plain soil that's not sloppy or not rough terrain. I mean, some of my tracks I found that look awesome are in grass, like like the one I showed earlier. I know the picture didn't do much justice, but because it was marshy and wet in there, I had plaster back in my vehicle. I didn't have it with me, but that was a fairly good hike back to my vehicle if I wanted to try to even attempt to cast it. But yeah, hairspray is a good thing to use. Jeff Meldrum, when he came up with that idea or whatever, he may have other reasons behind it, but hairspray is good to have with you. Like I said, it'll help preserve the details of the track and eliminate a lot of the loose debris that's sitting in the track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of times I will carefully try to pick away at the debris in there, long as it doesn't, mess up the track. I'll try my best to remove stuff. Sometimes, like a lot of loose leaf litter, or maybe in some cases, pine litter, because you might be in a pine thicket, area where there's a lot of pine on the ground. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool to have that stuff available.
We received a suggestion about the gravel pit, that if we were to find tracks like that again in a gravel pit, they suggested using saran wrap and putting that into the print before we pour anything in it. He said they might get some creases in there, but at least you'll get a viable footprint cast.
Absolutely, that's a very good idea. I don't know if I'm not sure if I heard that one before, but that's something to definitely keep in mind.
I know what I'm adding to my field kit now.
Hey, there you go.
Glad we could help.
Very awesome. Well,
that's why it's important to start talking with fellow Bigfooters. I think we share ideas, and I think it's all around a good thing.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now I need to go get a hold of Michael Cook and see if he'll teach me how to make a cast, because I tried to make a cast back in August of last year. And Daniel, I sent you the pictures whenever I found that 17-inch long track I found. I tried to use floor leveler, and I let it dry over the course of 8 hours. And whenever I went to go pull that cast, it shattered in my hands.
Oh no.
I had a high speed come apart. I was cussing like crazy, saying words I never said before. I was mad.
You know what we have? We bought 75 pounds of dental stone. It's kind of spendy, but good God, that stuff is indestructible. It's like stone.
Yeah, I've heard that one used. A lot of people use that a lot. I personally, I use plaster of Paris, which is a very common used mixture for tracks. But yeah, dental stone. It's really good stuff. I know Ryan Reedon actually mentioned it from out of upstate New York. But yeah, it is very strong stuff. The other thing is, as far as mixing it properly, Zach, is one thing a lot of people ask me. First of all, they ask me, what do I use? Again, plaster of Paris, which is common. You can find it in any kind of hardware store. Walmart carries it. You can go to craft stores, craft shops carry it. They depends on what craft shop you might be looking at.
Yeah, you can go to Walmart and get plaster of Paris, get like 3 pounds for like $3.
Yeah, I usually get eight pounds at a time. 8 pounds might be good enough for, like, actually, believe it or not, but only 2 tracks, depending on the size of them.
I don't know. I think the reason that my cast shattered so bad was because I used too much water in it.
Yeah, that might be why. That's why you always start off with a little bit of powder and gradually add water to it. You want to think of pancake batter. So, yeah. Make it more of a thick paste.
Batter next to make a cast.
Yeah, you want it thick, but you want to be able to pour too. So, yeah.
Practice at home for a while first. Make some footprints of yourself, and
yeah, there you go. Because I've done that. I haven't done that in a while. I need to do it again because I actually made a foot track of my own foot, my right foot one time, and I got a picture. If I pull it up, yeah, it's actually I have it with a bunch of my other tracks I found. There's a track in there that's made for my own foot, and I use that for comparison purposes. As well as if you ever come across a really good bear track, cast it. If it's good enough, cast it. Bear tracks are good to have. Mainly the rear foot of the bear, because the rear foot of a bear is very human looking. It's very human like. So, and very that's another major misidentification of Bigfoot tracks is bear tracks. So that's something to definitely take advantage of. So, anyway, it's been a great night, guys. I have to get off here. My daughter's still up watching TV while she's waiting for me to watch it. We're gonna watch a movie before we go to bed. So anyway, over the next few weeks here, I'll be out in the woods a lot here more, mainly because turkey season's already in. Right now, turkey season's only in for half a day, and for another week or so, it turns into a full day. So I'll be out there soon enough with my shotgun. So. But I'm excited to be out there. I love
it. Just got awesome. I heard a gun click.
Yeah.
That's my Mossberg pump, my 12 gauge. So yeah.
Well, you make sure and tell your daughter good night and hi from the She Squatchers too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I sure will. Yeah, because you girls will meet her. She'll be there. So I don't know. I'm not sure what she'll be doing there. She'll probably babysitting our table. I don't know. So.
Jen. I referred my mom. I referred my mom to you, and she sent you a friend request. I think Marlon Renee is her name.
Okay.
And I referred her to you because she's one of my she's my research partner. My mother is, and I referred her to you. Because of not only with it being Bigfoot, not only that, because me and my mother are empathic and all that jazz, so I referred her to you guys.
Very nice.
She's a very nice lady, and she will give you the 411, all the rundown on Zach, everything you need to know about Zach. So,
oh, shut up!
We want to see baby pictures.
You're
going to see him if you ask.
No.
She'll even show you those big yellow stains on his bed sheets too. So.
Oh no!
Daniel J. Benoit, I'm going to jerk you bald.
Hey, at least I didn't bring up the brown skin marks and the underwear she showed everybody.
Oh my God! Here we go. He's giving it back.
Let me say, I'm sorry. I gotta behave.
I'm just about to ugly cry. Or ugly laugh.
Well, I'll tell you
what.
It's been fun.
It has been.
You guys rock, and like I said, it's been a great discussion. I knew we were gonna have fun tonight, so it never fails. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having us, because this really has been a blast. And you guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting.
Absolutely. Yes. And everybody, make sure you're there at the conference, June 30th and July 1st. Fishersville, Virginia, at the Augusta Expo. Be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
We will.
Awesome.
Awesome. We will be there.
Well, I'm going to be there, but I'm not mainly square. I'm more oval shaped.
Hey, round's a shape too, you know.